First contact in the wilderness. The forest breathed around Ethan Reyes, a gentle whisper of pine and moisture that spoke of ancient secrets. His research station stood as a solitary beacon of human presence in the vast wilderness of the Olympic Peninsula, a testament to his dedication to understanding the intricate ecosystems that most people never witnessed. Ethan adjusted the collar of his weatherproof jacket, checking the array of environmental sensors mounted on nearby trees. Another long night of tracking wildlife movement lay ahead. The soft glow of his tablet reflected the determination etched into his features, a man who had chosen isolation over the conventional path, driven by an insatiable curiosity about the natural world. A sudden disruption caught his attention. The forest's usual symphony of night sounds fractured, an unnatural silence that sent a chill down his spine. Something was wrong. Years of research had honed Ethan's instincts, and right now, those instincts were screaming. He reached for the high-powered flashlight mounted on his research vehicle, its beam cutting through the darkness like a surgical knife. Movement caught the edge of the light, something that definitely wasn't native to these woods. A shape. Irregular. Definitely not a deer or bear. Slowly, carefully, Ethan approached. Professional caution battled with an overwhelming sense of curiosity. Whatever lay ahead was unlike anything he'd encountered in his years of ecological research. The figure came into clearer view, and Ethan's scientific mind momentarily short-circuited. It was humanoid, but distinctly not human. Pale, almost translucent skin that seemed to shimmer with an internal luminescence. Sleek, elongated limbs that suggested a completely different evolutionary path. And most critically, it was injured. A deep gash ran along the being's side, oozing a silvery substance that looked more like liquid mercury than blood. The creature's breathing was labored, each exhale a soft, almost musical sound that seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly resonance. "Hey," Ethan called softly, knowing how ridiculous it was to use such a human greeting. "I'm not going to hurt you." The being's eyes flickered open, massive, iridescent eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. They locked onto Ethan with an intensity that suggested intelligence far beyond anything he'd previously encountered. Protocol suggested multiple courses of action. Call authorities. Document everything. Maintain distance. But Ethan was a scientist first, and the being was clearly in distress. "You're hurt," he said, taking a cautious step forward. "I can help." The alien, for there was no other word for it, made a sound. Not words, exactly, but a complex series of tones that seemed to communicate more than language ever could. Pain. Confusion. A deep, primal fear. Ethan's medical training kicked in. He'd treated countless injured animals, managed complex field medical situations. This couldn't be entirely different. He pulled out a first aid kit, movements slow and deliberate to avoid seeming threatening. "I'm going to try to stop the bleeding," he explained, more for his own comfort than any expectation of understanding. As he approached, the alien's luminescent skin began to shift, changing colors like a complex living canvas. Blues and silvers rippled across its surface, a biological response that suggested a sophisticated communication system far beyond human comprehension. The next moments would change everything. Not just for Ethan, but potentially for humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Little did Ethan know that this wounded being represented something far more significant than a mere extraterrestrial visitor. This was first contact. And first contacts, history had always shown, were delicate, transformative moments that could reshape entire civilizations. The forest watched. Silent. Waiting. The first chapter of an extraordinary story was about to unfold. Secrets of the Starborn. The research station's medical bay had never housed anything like this before. Ethan worked meticulously, his hands steady despite the extraordinary circumstances. The alien's physiology defied everything he knew about biological systems. Its skin continued to shift and pulse, a living, breathing communication system that seemed to react to every touch, every movement. "I need to clean the wound," Ethan murmured, more to himself than to his extraordinary patient. The silvery fluid that passed for blood was unlike any biological substance he'd ever encountered. It seemed to have properties that went beyond mere fluid, almost like a living, adaptive material. The alien's massive eyes tracked his every movement. There was intelligence there, profound, deep, and utterly alien. Communication would be the real challenge. Ethan had prepared for many scenarios in his years of research. Wildlife tracking, ecosystem studies, emergency medical procedures. But nothing could have prepared him for this moment. As he cleaned the wound, the alien skin began to respond. The silvery substance started to coalesce, forming intricate patterns that looked almost like circuitry. Healing, Ethan realized. This wasn't just blood, it was a complex biological mechanism far beyond human medical understanding. A soft sound emerged from the alien, not words, but a series of harmonic tones that seemed to vibrate with meaning. Ethan found himself leaning closer, trying to understand. "Can you understand me?" he asked, knowing the futility of the question. To his shock, the alien skin began to shift. Patterns formed, almost like text, but not in any human language. Geometric shapes. Complex mathematical representations. A language of pure information. Ethan grabbed his tablet, quickly capturing images of the patterns. Years of scientific training warred with the sheer impossibility of the moment. First contact. Real, genuine first contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. The alien's hand, if it could be called a hand, reached out. Translucent fingers with an extra joint moved with surprising grace. Before Ethan could react, a cool touch pressed against his temple. Everything changed. Not physically, but mentally. A flood of information crashed through Ethan's consciousness. Glimpses. Fragments. A vast cosmic tapestry of knowledge that threatened to overwhelm him. Visions of distant worlds. Stellar civilizations. Complex networks of communication that spanned light years. The alien wasn't just communicating, it was sharing its entire existence. Zara, came a sound in his mind. A name? An identifier? Ethan wasn't sure. The being, Zara, had a purpose. Something critical. Something that went far beyond a simple crash landing in a remote forest. As the information flow slowed, Ethan realized he was breathing heavily. Sweat beaded on his forehead. The alien watched him with those galaxy-deep eyes, waiting. "What do you want?" Ethan whispered. The skin text formed again. Slowly. Deliberately. A message that sent a chill down his spine. Warning. Approach. Imminent. Something was coming. Something that had followed Zara to Earth. Outside the research station, the forest had gone completely silent. No wind. No animal sounds. Just an expectant stillness that suggested something momentous was about to happen. Ethan looked at Zara. The alien looked back. Two beings from fundamentally different worlds, now inexplicably linked. First contact was never going to be simple. Cosmic convergence. The underground facility was a maze of technological marvel and human anxiety. Located deep beneath the Olympic Mountains, it had been constructed in secret years ago, a contingency plan for scenarios no one truly believed would happen. Until now. Ethan watched as Zara interfaced with the most advanced computer systems humanity had ever created. Her skin had become a living conduit of information, translating complex star charts, technological schematics, and what appeared to be a strategic map of an interstellar conflict that defied human comprehension. Dr. Rodriguez moved between holographic displays, her earlier skepticism replaced by a mix of scientific excitement and deep concern. "The threat is real," she muttered, more to herself than to anyone else. And it's unlike anything we've ever encountered. Zara's communication had become more refined. No longer just patterns and abstract images, but something closer to a shared language. Ethan had become the primary interpreter, his background in complex biological systems giving him an unexpected advantage in understanding the aliens' method of communication. "They're called the Void Architects," Ethan translated, watching as complex geometric patterns erupted from Zara's skin. "Not a species, exactly. More like a technological collective. They consume civilizations. Not just destroy. Consume." The holographic displays showed entire star systems being dismantled. Not destroyed, taken apart. Converted. Something beyond warfare, beyond conquest. A process of total technological assimilation that left nothing unchanged. "How long?" Rodriguez asked, her voice tight. Zara's response came in a burst of stellar coordinates and time signatures. Ethan's eyes widened. "Weeks. Maybe less." The military personnel in the facility began to move with increased urgency. Missile systems. Experimental weapon prototypes. Technologies that had been kept hidden from the public now emerged like sleeping giants awakening. But Zara was communicating something more. Not just a warning, but a potential solution. Her skin began to project a complex schematic. A weapon? No. A defense system. Something that required both alien technology and human adaptability. A hybrid solution that neither species could develop alone. Collaboration, Ethan translated. Not just survival. Evolution. Rodriguez stepped closer. "Explain." The holographic display showed two different technological systems merging. Human computational networks. Zara's adaptive biological technologies. Something that could potentially create a defensive barrier unlike anything previously conceived. Outside the facility, the first signs of the approaching threat began to manifest. Satellite communications went dark. Strange energy signatures appeared at the edges of the solar system. Something was coming. Zara's eyes, those galaxy-deep windows into an incomprehensible intelligence, locked with Ethan's. More was being communicated than words could express. A connection. A understanding that went beyond species. Beyond technology. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. And their only hope lay in a partnership nobody could have predicted.